All right. If you don't have the question number, please pick up. We have only from 1 to 12. Okay. All right. Before we move on, let me go over briefly. Alexis, please turn on the cam, please. Thank you. All right. So, how you guys doing? So, hope you have the ready for the analysis paper or the online presentation already, right? Anyone I miss? Okay, so you see your rate, right? Okay, let me go over briefly about what I like to say today. Let's see here. Okay, so this month you have two times. You have two chances for earning the credits. Let me share with you. The first one is the 25th, a week from next week. So I will give the lecture, the speaker series at the the AD Bruce Religious Center. Most of you know, right? From 10 to 11:15. If you come there, it's convenient. I give you 10 extra point. That's all. Right. That's the first one. Right. And the next one is the 15 extra point. You can click on here to register if you want to attend. So in total, if you attend both, you have 25 extra points. And up to now, I think you still recognize importance of the extra point, right? If we boost up your rate toward the end of the semester. So these are the two chances for this month, and after that, there's no more. Okay. All right. So any question? Any question about the field trip? The extra credit for the field trip and the other one? Any question? Okay. So far we now we week up 8, right? So we meet up the semester now. So far all you know the pattern, right? There's nothing strange, nothing surprise for you guys, right? Okay. Any question? Or now again we have 12 questions only, okay? So any question before I break up the room? Any question? Okay, so please let's see here. Let me find out. Let's see here. Okay, number 9. Number 9, number 8, number 5.
Choose number 8, Professor.
Yes.
Yeah. Number 8.
Can you speak loudly, please? Yes.
Yeah, can I choose question 8?
Okay, you don't know how to add that question into your name?
My name's
I know. Okay. You don't know how to put your number nearby your name? Okay, put for you already. All right, let me assign you to the room. Okay, number 12, number 9. Any question about the extra credit? Number 8. Okay, number 8. All right, number 12. Oh, wow, we have so many number 12. Okay, number 1, we have too many number 1, number 4. Okay. All right, the rest I will click on and you see if you don't have your name, you can pick up different number, otherwise you can go there, right? Let me open the room. If you see your name in the room, please go there, okay? And start to talk with your friends like before. Yeah, go ahead, please.
So which numbers are left?
Yeah, let's see. Okay, all right, the rest we pull up number 11, 1, 12, 1, 12, 1, 11, 12 with 4. So please pick up different number. Okay. Please pick different number because 3 the mass. So we have number 3, 3, 6, 7, 3, 6, 7, 10, 3, 6, 7, 10. All right, 3. Okay, 3, 3, 6, 7, 10. Okay, 10. All right. We have 1 more 2, 1 more 3, 7, 10. All right, we have 10 here. 1 more 3. Let's see, 3. Okay, yeah, you can go to 3. Tessa and Gemma. Let's see number 3 here. Let's see number 10. We have 6. Oh, can go with 1 more 10. That's enough. Yeah, Tessa, you can go to number 10. Gemma, you want to go with number? Let's see, which number is that? Number 6. You want to go?
That's fine.
Can you change to number 6?
Yeah, let me.
All right, thank you. Yeah, please go there.
Of attachment.
Okay, hi, how you been?
Hey, we're doing good.
Is the question? What's the question about?
It was hold on. The meanings of Buddha's Dharma body.
Okay. All right. Continue. Okay. Thank you. Angela and Leah, you guys doing so okay here?
Yes.
Yep, we already established what we're going to talk about and everything.
What's that, Angela?
Huh? I just said we already decided like what we were going to talk about and looked it up.
Okay. All right. Keep up, okay. Jesse,
Yes.
you guys doing so okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just currently researching the question right now.
What the question?
Describe how the Pali Text Society first embarked the translational process of the Pali into English.
Okay. This is the question, right? It's plenty
Is
of
that how you say it? Pali?
Pali.
Pali. Okay.
Okay. Keep up, okay. Thank you. Okay. So, Andrea and Sydney, how you guys doing here?
We're good.
We're
We discussed
good.
it.
The question?
Mm-mm.
What your question about?
Oh, what's our
The Kangar and the Tingar cannons.
Okay. Okay. There's plenty information over there, right? All right. So keep up, okay? Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Vitra and Sydney, how you guys doing here?
We're doing good.
What
Yeah.
the question?
Number 5, explain the development of the Taisho canon.
Okay. So easy to find the response, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Keep up, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Richie and Gemma, you guys do okay here, number 6? Richie?
Yeah, I'm looking for some stuff. It's kind of hard to find and it's not in the textbook, but I'm just doing some research.
What the question?
Describe the role of, I don't know how to pronounce that, on
Answer down.
Yeah, in translating Buddhist text from Sanskrit to Chinese.
Okay, yeah. So this is some information out there. You can type on online. You can find. Okay, Rishi. Okay. Good. All right. Keep up then. All right. Tony, Jaza, and
Hello.
you are doing okay here.
Doing okay.
What is the
Yeah.
question?
It is number 8, provided biography for Kuma Kiva.
Okay,
Um,
it's be a famous one. It's easy question, right?
can you pronounce his name?
Kumarajiva.
Okay, thank you.
Kumarajiva. Yeah.
Kumara Jiva. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Keep up. Okay. All right. Milan, Tessa, and Ian, how you guys doing here? What the question?
We're doing question 10.
What's about?
It's it was articulate the translational process of Buddhist sutra so that it would be a Buddhist authentic literature.
Okay. Let me see here one more time. Number 10, right? Oh, okay. Okay, translational process. Yeah, think about and do some research, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Hey, Andy, how you guys doing
Hi.
here?
Good.
What's your,
We're missing a partner though. I think he disconnected.
who is that?
Forgot who it was.
That's okay. What's your question about?
Where is it? Describe how Buddhist scriptures were preserved and on palm leaves, birch barks, cloth silk, copper plates, and wood block.
Yeah, it's
We
easy.
divided each one, so we all covered 2 of them.
It's easy question, like V. Right, you can find information there, V.
Yes.
Okay, keep up, okay. Andy?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Right. NT, me, Austin, you guys doing okay here?
Yes, we are doing okay.
You're not driving like me, me, right? You're not driving, right?
Oh no, I'm in the back.
That's good. Okay.
Yes.
So what's the question? The last question is the question, right?
Yes.
What's about?
It's asking about how are Buddhist I think it's scriptures being preserved nowadays in the modern world digitally.
In digital way, right? It's plenty there, right? Plenty of
Yes.
information. Denti?
I found the websites where they store them, but basically I think the way that they store is just like
What's that? What do you say?
checking. The ways that they preserve texts and it's like type them out, take pictures, put them on websites.
That's what we want. You guys can talk about, okay? All right, keep up, okay. Austin, easy, Austin?
Yes, it's a pretty easy question.
Easy question. You have lunch now?
I'm gonna go get lunch after this.
All right, so just keep up, okay? Thank you. Okay, hi Ryan. Can you hear me, Ryan? Can you
Well,
can you turn on the cam, please?
oh yeah.
Yeah, we have number 2, number
Oh, I was in the meeting before my internet just cut out.
which one?
I was in room 11.
All right, can you put your name, your number 11?
Mhm.
Yeah, put it there. Put your name and put the number nearby your name, please.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So you can have enough time to discuss? Okay.
That's fine.
All right, let's see here. Yeah. Okay. Just wait for everyone to come out here. Oh, let's start with Anne, Sarah, and Alexis. Number one, please. Can you read the question first, please?
So our first question is describe the meaning of the Buddha's Dharma body. And basically, the Dharma, of course, is the law and order. And he, like, once he passed away, he wanted that to be like their discipline and doctrine to what they follow in after. And so everything that he taught, everyone came together and they tried to, like, and they thought of everything that he said and they put it together so that the new people or people that didn't get to hear his preachings, they would know what he wanted from them. And then I'll let them expand.
Can you, sorry, I could not get much. Can you explain one more time, please?
Yes, so Dhamma, of course, is law and order, right? So that's what he wanted out of them. Like, that's going to be like their principles, their doctrine, and what they learn from his teachings. And so the people that did get to hear his teachings, they were able to come together and explain that once he passed so that the future people, they'll know what he wanted out of them and what he wanted them to learn.
Okay. Oh, and if you have problems to speak here, can you use your cell phone? Okay. Yeah, just use your cell phone. One is for the video, one is for cell phone. I think you can speak, okay? Go ahead, Sarah, please.
Basically just like also what Alexis said, but that also the teachings were brought down from generation to generation before it was written down. And so the monks that heard from Buddha would teach other monks certain portions. Like each group would learn a specific portion of the teaching, and then from there it would go down to another generation, and so on and so forth. And this was a really big tradition, and that's why it's called like the Dharma's body, because it's the teaching that's being passed down from generation to generation in one big body and one big community.
Okay. So Anne, yeah, you can log in by using the cell phone. Can you hear Anne?
I think, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
My
Yeah,
audio-
good. We can hear you now. Speak loudly, please.
Yeah, I was having audio trouble, so I didn't hear anything before this.
It's okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, just continue. Doesn't matter. Just share whichever thing you know.
We also shared everything.
Yeah.
The Dharma's body was messy because like members of the Sangha was worried that when Buddha died, the community would then break apart. But so then he created the Dharma so his words can still continue on, and that could be the teacher for like the later generations or something.
Okay, so what's mean by Dharma in Buddhist view?
It's like the teachings, right?
What's that? What's mean by Dharma?
Similar to like his teachings, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, mainly in Buddhism, when we talk about Dharma, that's mean Buddha teaching. But in broader sense, it's cover everything. But the member who know the difference between Buddhist Dharma and Hindu Dharma, anyone of you here know? What is the difference? Anyone? Rishi, you know how? You know what is different, Rishi?
Can you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So like as you and Anne were mentioning, like Buddhist Dharma is more focused on like Buddhist teachings and the specific way in which he lived and how he wanted his followers to conduct themselves in life. Whereas like Dharma, in like the Hindu sense, it's very broad, so it can constitute anything from social and moral duty, for yourself as an individual to societal order, just governance. It can even go all the way up to cosmic order and, you know, the stars following a certain path in the sky. So anything from my individual person and my relationship to my family and society, as well as like science and like all those different aspects of like how things should be, sort of.
So basically just the social order, right? That's Dharma in Hinduism, right? All right, thank you,
Yeah.
Rishi. All right, so number 2, Angela and Nia, please.
Okay, our question is explain how the Buddha's teachings were first compiled in Pali. My part of the question I answered was that the Vada tradition states that the canon was recited orally from the 5th century for the 1st century BC when it was written down.
Okay.
Okay.
Angela.
So in the book, it says that the canon in Pali was first transmitted to Sri Lanka, where it spread unchanged to Southeast Asia. And then the people the people of Southeast Asia chose not to translate the Pali when they received it because it was believed to be the word of Buddha. So then to do so would be irreligious.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, but the question how the Buddha teaching was first compiled in Pali. You guys don't focus on that, Angela.
So basically we just thought that the teachings were was translated to Pali through oral teachings of the Buddha. So he would recite it and they would just translate it, and that's how it was collected.
Okay. Nia, you have any idea yet? Want to add more, Nia?
Yeah, that was basically it. Through communication, that was really how it was spread.
Okay. So here, please remember, during the Buddha times, there's no record, no written text during the Buddha times. Right after the Buddha passed away, 3 months after, remember the first council, right? They came together and decide the Buddha teaching orally 3 months after that. And up to the 3rd century BC, during the time of Ashoka, so he started to write something in Sanskrit, and that belonged to the Mahayana canon later on, right? Bit by bit. And by the 1st century BC, when Buddhism spread to Sri Lanka, officially, what do you call the 4 Buddhist council in Sri Lanka, they start to write out the Buddhist canon in Pali. And actually Pali is one of the classical Indian language that the Buddhists and his students use to propagate Buddhism during those time. Let me share with you. I don't know whether anyone of you watched this video clip yet. This one for your assignment for this week. Have anyone of you watched it yet? Angela, have you watched it yet? This one here. Nia, have you watched it, Nia?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, this is a requirement. So again,
Not yet.
let me share with you. This is just a short clip how the Buddha first teaching was recorded or written down in Pali officially. Right. Anyone of you watched this one in the class? Who have watched this one before? None? Wow. Okay, so let's watch together and it's not too long.
Buddhism, practitioners take refuge in the triple gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Dhamma means the teachings of the Buddha. According to historical records, after the Buddha's death, Followers transmitted the teachings orally from generation to generation. The first time in history where the teachings were recorded in written manuscript form is located in Aluvihara, the place where I'm now standing. 2000 years ago, 500 selected monks in a council wrote down the Buddha's teachings on palm leaf manuscripts. This body of work is called the Tripitaka. Let me now show you how these palm leaf manuscripts are made.
Buddhanubhavena vinasamentu Yangam nimittang mangalante Yoja manako sakunas sattu Papagaho dustupinang akantang Dhammanubhavena vinasamentu Yang dong nimittang avamangalante Yoja manako sakunat sattu Apagaho dustupinang akantang Buddhanubhavena vinasamentu Yang dong nimittang avamangalante Yoja manako sakunas sattu Papagaho dustupinang akantang Dhamman.
Okay, anyway, so you see that? Yeah, during those time, there's no paper invented yet. So they do use the palm leaf, right? You see that how they dry out the leaf, right? And wrote them on with the ink over there in the past there. All right, so thank you. Let's move on to the number 3. Jesse and Gustavo, please. Number 3.
So our question was describe how the Polytext Society first embarked the translational process of the Pali into English. So the Pali Text Society first started this translation process from Pali into English within the first publication of the Pali English Dictionary made in the, I think the 1800s or the 1900s.
It was 1880. It was like late 1800s.
Yes.
And it was a
and
lot
then-
of written and oral reports.
Yeah, so they played a very significant role in advancing and making this happen. And they also did a lot of activities such as translating the text and also offering research grants, producing scholarly publications. And these efforts are, they contributed a lot into understanding and appreciating the early Buddhist literature, specifically Theravada Buddhism.
Okay.
Okay, so the Polytext was founded in 1881 by Thomas William Davis, a British scholar and Orientologist, and his wife Caroline. David was deeply interested in Buddhist philosophy and wanted to make the Polytext available to the Western world. So the society was established with primary objective of translating and publishing the Polytext, preserving the Buddhist scriptures in the original language. Yeah.
Okay. Gustavo, you want to say more about this?
Yeah, the way they did that was they had to look at a lot. They had to research a lot, and they had to find researchers who were proficient in Pali, which is not a very common language anymore. And they had to be very careful with their wording. They couldn't afford to mistranslate anything, so they had to be very meticulous.
Okay, how is about the founder? Who is the founder, and how could he come about to establish that Pali Kenyan society?
You are talking about Thomas I think
The
like Thomas
founder
Dies or
of
something.
society, yeah.
Says Thomas William Rhys David.
Mm-hmm.
Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's about him?
He was British. That's all
Yeah.
I really recalled about him.
Mm-hmm. What else? How could he devote his time on the translation? Jesse, you want to ask?
He was um he was an English scholar, and he took an active part in founding the British Academy as well. That's kind of all I know about him.
Okay, Juan, you happen to that?
I totally agree with what both of them said. And
Actually, his father was a Christian pastor, but he went to Sri Lanka, right? At first, he served as a civil servant. The government during those times required them to learn the local languages. That's why he started to learn the Pali together with others. And later on, he found interest in learning the Pali Kenyan with the other Sri Lankan senior monk, and that's why he found this society. Okay, so at first he didn't have intention to create this society, but since he need to learn in order to serve in Sri Lanka, eventually he had that interest in learn more and develop this Pali English Pali text society. All right, so number 4, Angel, Mitchell, and Sydney, please.
So we got number 4. Our question was elaborate 2 Tibetan Buddhist canons, the Kangyur and the Tengyur. So the Kangyur is also known as the translated words, and it consists of over 100 volumes of teachings that were supposedly spoken by the Buddha himself. Then the Tengyur is the translated treatises or treaties. And this is like the translation of the translations, basically. And it just explains and elaborates on the words of the Buddha that were shared in the Kangyur. Then they're going to go into some more detail about them.
Okay.
So the Kangyur is very important to Buddhist history because it tells like the nature, the culture, the philosophical aspect, and like social historical aspects of it, of not only Tibetan Buddhism but Indian Buddhism. And the Tengyur is, like she said, a translation of Buddhist teachings, but it also it has like the medicines, the crafts, the logics, the tinctures, all of that. And it's different versions of each by different people, but they're not wrong. And they're in different orders, but it's not, none of it's wrong. It's all right. There was one more thing.
Okay. Mitchell, you want to add anything more?
Okay.
They were brought to Tibet from India in around the 7th century. And that's about when they started getting translated. And there are a few different versions, such as manuscripts and block prints.
Okay. That's all? So what's special about those Kenyans? Why so special?
About which one?
I guess from my understanding, like I thought they were special because they supposedly came from like exactly what the Buddha said. Like they came from him, like they weren't interpretations, like they were exactly what he said.
So they translate directly from Sanskrit into Tibetan language. And later on, because the Turkish armies destroy the whole libraries of Buddhist Kenyans in Nalanda, including the Sanskrit Kenyan, so it's great loss. That's why later on, the monks during this modern age, they retranslated from Tibetan back to Sanskrit. All right, thank you. Number 5, Sydney and Victoria, please.
We had number 5, and the question was explain the development of the Tashio Canon. And the Tashio Canon was published between 1924 and 1932, and it was one of the several projects in the modern Japan aimed at creating revised editions for the Chinese Tripitaka, if I'm saying that correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, and a little bit of background from the book. It said, according to tradition, the process began with the convening of an assembly in a large cave, during which each monk recited what they remembered from the Buddha's sermons. The elders reviewed that and corrected the material, and as a collective, they created the Buddha's canons. And whenever we're talking about the Taisho canon, this one was more of like a modernized version of it, and it has about 55,000 pages. And people are able to find it in seconds nowadays.
Okay. Let's see here. Who can read Chinese? Anyone of you can read Chinese here? No? Okay. Here, let me share with you. This is what they call Taisho Canyon in Chinese. Definitely only when you read Chinese, you can read Chinese. I mean that only when you understand Chinese, you can read, otherwise you can't. You see this one here. This is the long sutra right here. You sit here, so they mark it by number here. Okay. Yeah, so if you want to be a Buddhist scholar, you should know either Chinese, Tibetan, or Pali. So there are the two main Buddhist canyon nowadays. All right, so let's see here, number 6, right? Gemma and Rishi, please.
So we had the question, describe the role of An Shigao in translating Buddhist texts from Sanskrit to Chinese. Basically what I found was he was a prince and he ended up like renouncing the crown and started traveling, and then he eventually traveled to China where he translated Buddhism, which he was a follower of Buddhism, and kind of brought over principles like the Four Noble Truths and mindfulness and meditation, all of that kind of became popularized, and that's what I found.
Okay. Rishi?
Just to add to what Gemma was saying, so An Shigao was a very key figure in the early translation of Buddhist texts from Sanskrit to Chinese, and he really played a crucial role in making Buddhist teachings accessible to Chinese audiences. He was also part of the group of 5 Buddhist translators known as the 5 Elders of the East during the Eastern Han Dynasty in China. And basically, his contribution lies in his translation, and he rendered a lot of important Buddhist scriptures. And this was like very challenging because like there's linguistic barriers between Chinese and like different languages. So those are some things that he had to deal with when he was coming up with these translations. And he was able to adapt Buddhist concepts to fit within the cultural and philosophical framework of Chinese thought. And like overall, it really kind of made it a major form of thought like in the East, and really helped it bring he really helped bring Buddhism like to China and like the rest of the civilizations that like came after them.
Thank you. Irana and Alan, we have from number 7 to number 12. Pick one of them so that you can respond, okay?
I can do number 7.
Yeah, get right out. Right, put the number 7 near by your name. Arena, okay, pick a new number from 7 to, no, I said from 8 to 12, okay? All right, let me share with you guys. That's what about An Shigao here. So he was, according to the legend, he was a prince let's see here, from this country, it belong to arena, political and cultural power in ancient Iran. So you see that in the past, Iran, Iraq, Pakistan, Afghanistan were the Buddhist country, but now they are Muslim country. So a lot of legend about him, but basically he was considered as the first ever earliest translator from Iran to China. So many of his translation focus on meditation, on the number and so forth, but it's pure hard to translate because, you know, in the early times they didn't have Buddhist terminology there. Yeah, even if someone know the classical Chinese well, but it's not easy to read his translation. And this made legend regarding about him. Let me tell you briefly. So on the way he went to China from Iran. So somehow he met a guy. At first, they didn't have any kind of introduction, but somehow that guy carry a wooden stick and hit him on the head. He died on the spot without any reason. Let's put it this way, you know, in Buddhist view, if we have some animosity, a conflict with other people, it's not by chance, not coincidentally. It has something that delayed in the past life. And guess what? After he passed away, his spirit went back to his country and become a prince again. And he let go of the princehood and become Buddhist monk. And he went to China again. So what happened then? So he went to the house of the man that killed him in his previous life, and he told everyone. I mean, he mentioned about this story that my guy didn't dare to reveal anyone else. Sorry. So what happened then? So this man is so frightened that he thought that Ashoka was a ghost. So Ashoka said, "No, I'm not a ghost. I was born again. So I came here to pay one more debt I have to pay. So tomorrow, when they went out the market, they hit me again. So just give this letter to the officer so that they can let them go. So they would not charge them because I have to pay my debt." So what happened then? The next day, he went to the market, and there were two men who were fighting each other with their stick, and somehow he got in the middle and they hit his head. He died on the spot. And of course, the officer charged those men for homicide, for murder, but the one that killed him in the former life gave the letter to the officer, and officer opened the letter and recognized that, oh well, this month he just paid his debt, so he let go of the one that hit him. So that's many legends relate to him. And so after that, he was born in the same country, become a prince, and he went to China again. So this illustrates what we call the law of karma. When we kill someone, when we harm someone, it's still there. One day, sooner or later, we'll have to pay our debt. You guys got my story? All right, Gemma? Okay. All right, thank you. Let's number. Oh, okay. Alan, number 7. Go ahead, please.
I'm still working on it. Can you come back to me?
Oh, sure. All right, number 8. Kai, Tony, and Zaha, please.
For number 8, we got provided biography for Kumarajiva.
Okay.
Kumarajiva was an influential Chinese monk who translated Buddhist scriptures in Chinese. He was born in China, and he learned. No,
Wrong. You did wrong. He's not
really?
China.
Okay.
No, he's not Chinese. No. Read it carefully. All right. All right. Kai.
What I wrote down.
Zaha,
Okay.
you want to help him out?
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
he was an Indian Buddhist monk,
Yeah.
and he was born in like a noble family. And
Mm.
he became a novice monk at 7, and at 9 he moved to northern India to study the Buddhist agamas.
Mm.
And then the Emperor of China wanted him at his court, so he was captured. And during that time, he learned Chinese, and that's how he like started translating the Buddhist texts.
Yeah. Okay. Kai, you want to say anything about this question? Kai, are you here? Oh, I saw he left. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Tony. Oh, Kai, you want
I
to
read
say?
it wrong. Oh, okay.
Kumaragina was
Can
an
you move
Indian.
out the microphone? It's hard to hear you. Please move out your screen and speak loudly, please. Go ahead, please.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Kumarajiva was an Indian. He followed Theravada Buddhism, then converted to Mahayana Buddhism. Kumarajiva was taken to China as a prisoner, but a Chinese emperor respected him very much. He became one of the greatest translator in China. He could translate the Buddhist scripture in Sanskrit into Chinese. Therefore, the emperor offered him the title of a national teacher of China to honor him his contribution to Chinese Buddhism. Yeah.
Okay. Tony, you got that?
I got it now. I
All
read
right.
it wrong. He was born in
Yeah,
a kingdom,
more.
but now it's China, like
Yeah.
present day China now.
Mhm.
He learned Buddhism when he was young from his father, and
Mhm.
then later when he grew up, he went to India to learn more in the monastic centers.
Okay.
And then after 2 decades of studying, he went back to China to translate Buddhist scriptures for them and became famous for it.
One more time, he's not Chinese. He didn't went back. He didn't go back.
You
No,
think?
he was born
What am I
as
reading?
yeah. He's
I
not.
know he wasn't Chinese now.
Yeah.
I thought he went back to China after his journey in India. No?
And went once, not went back.
Okay. Sorry.
Right. Jara, can you add more? Which country, which country he was born, Kai, which country that he was born?
I think he was born in India.
Yes, not part in India.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe maybe Kashmir present.
Uh-huh. So his father was a national priest, but somehow the king wants him to get married with his younger sister. Yeah, he did. That's why they produced Kumarajiva. And later on, his mom went to the monastery to become Buddhist nun, and she took him along with her too. So he was a Buddhist novice when he was only 7 years old, and he learned Buddhism since then. And he's so smart. His memory is so great that he could remember most of the Buddha teaching. And he at first studied from Theravada tradition. Later on, he transferred to Mahayana. There's many story that his fame spread to China. So the Chinese emperor sent a general to invade Kucha. Kucha is between China and Kashmir. So to not to capture the country, but to capture him because he's so famous. But the general, after he captured that country, Kucha, it's a small country in those times, and now belong to China. So this general, he didn't follow the order. He kept him there for several years, and he forced him to get married with a princess of the Kucha. But he was imprisoned, according to the legend, is about 20 years. So because of that in prison, so he's learned Chinese. And later on, now the Chinese emperor sent a group of army to capture him and bring him back to Chang'an. Is the old capital of Chinese, China. So he became a national teacher, and under him, thousands of Buddhist Chinese monks that help him to do the translation. If you learn Chinese, and you could see that his translation is so beautiful. That's why one of the most important sutra that he's translated is the Lotus Sutra. Is so beautiful. It is so crucial for the people to read the sutra. All right, so thank you, Aaron and Holden. Number 9, please.
So our question number 9 was compare and contrast the stories of Xuanzang, a great translator in China, with the fictional Xuanzang in the novel Journey to the West. Xuanzang was a historical Chinese Tang Dynasty monk who is famous for his pilgrimage to India to collect Buddha scriptures, and then he brought them over to China. In the Journey to the West, the character portrayed is Tang Sangzang, who I believe that is another name for Xuanzang. But the main difference, or one of the different,
No, not his name. No.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Visionary figures, not his name.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. And one of the differences between Journey to the West and the real story is that the Buddha, which is in the story, offered Tang Sangzang 3 disciples to help him navigate through his journey to India.
Okay. So Holden, you want to add anything more?
Yeah, one of the themes in the book is kind of like mocking the Chinese bureaucracy in kind of like a satirical way, because at the time when the real the guy who's the book is based off of, the real person who went to India, he was actually violating a travel ban by the emperor, and so the book kind of reflects a type of mocking of the Chinese bureaucracy when it was written. And the Buddha's in it too.
Who have watched the movie Journey to the West, either in Chinese? How is that? Can you explain what's about?
I don't know, sorry, but it's a good movie.
Yeah, can you summarize what's that movie is about?
There's a venom master. I mean, like there's a monk that he traveled to the West with 3 other people, and during the journey they have a lot of like problems and challenges. That's all I can say.
You watch in Vietnamese or Chinese?
I watch it in Vietnamese, like subtitle in Vietnamese.
Okay. Anyone watched this movie before? It's very famous. Anh, Victory, have you watched him? Anh? We cannot hear you, Anh. Victoria, have you watched them before? Watch this movie? No. Alan, Kai, Angela, Dante, have you guys watched before? Tony?
No.
Oh,
I haven't
Alan?
watched it before.
Angela, you watched it before?
No, I haven't watched it before.
Oh, okay. It's still a long series of a movie. It's actually one of the most famous one in the East, in Vietnam, in China. You missed that. Yeah, you can watch in Vietnamese or Chinese. Anyway, so the story, let me show you here. There's one historical, let's see here, one historical Buddhist monk, Chinese monk, Xuan Chan. So when he was young, this is a lot of conflict in Buddhist translation from Sanskrit into Chinese. So that's why a lot of confusion. So he sneaked out country without the emperor approval. So he walked from Chang'an, that's mean the old capital of China. He walked here. You see that? That's a walking path, and he keep the journal. And now, based upon his journal, they know the Buddhist side in India. Before, Indian people, they didn't focus much in history. So it's here you see that how he went around, and he studied several years in Nalanda, and after that he went back to China in this the same route too. So when he went back to China, so it's the king, I mean the emperor welcomed him in a great way, and he becomes the national teacher too, and his fame spread everywhere. So talking about the Journey to the West, that is a legend, that's fictional story that written by a Taoist. Yes, in that movie, in that story, Xuan Chan was not a strong, a red monk, but the most famous one is Monkey King. So all the according to that fictional story, without the Monkey King, Xuan Chan could not go to India. So a lot of fictional story about. So let me share with you this short video about him. All right, and please remember that's just fictional figures, not the real one. Okay, a little bit funny. Some kind of fighting, but you can see that. It's in Chinese. It's like video games nowadays, right? That's why especially young people, they love this movie. Again, so these visionary figures, the Monkey King, he has superpower, and he's so arrogant, but somehow he was defeated by the Buddhas, and he was imprisoned under the big rock, a big mountain. So when he saw, when Xuan Chan passed by him, so he just lived that mantra, and Monkey King follow him. There's a lot of story, there are a lot of funny story given about him. All right, thank you. Number 10, Ian, Milan, and Tessa, please.
So the question was articulate the translational process of Buddhist sutra so that it would be a Buddhist authentic literature. What I wrote was like the sutra was like originally hand copied in China until like the printing press, which significantly like increased expanded Buddhist text around the country, and in like Korea and Japan because it was translated in Korean and Japanese. It used wood blocks to accelerate that process. There's also like a government bureau that was dedicated, that was had Chinese monks who were focused on translating Buddhist texts to Chinese. It was also required for monks to learn like the sutra so they could they would be able to spread it. And Chinese monks were also able to build up like bilingual glossaries and aids, which translated Indian languages like Sanskrit.
Okay. Next one, please.
So yeah. Oh, go ahead.
So
to preserve their authenticity, I guess like if you were a Buddhist scholar, it would be different. But if somebody individually wanted to attempt to do it, I guess the first step would to make sure that you had a proficient knowledge of like the language it was coming from, the language that you were translating into, and then like the entire catalog of Buddhist ideas. And another point that I thought was interesting, like Millen was saying, how there's like a committee. I think it's very important to have multiple opinions on this because things can be interpreted in so many different ways that it's important to have like multiple perspectives when trying to translate something, as there can be multiple interpretations.
I thank you. I
Yeah, so also just going over the different type of filters that they would use to ensure that it remained authentic and it preserved the key teachings was having people that understood the original language that those that it was written on the leaves. You had to have people that were fluent in those languages like Bali or Sanskrit, etc. And then you had to have people that could translate it accordingly to keep true to the word meaning rather than like summarizing it or interpreting it. Because you know how there's like different translations that they summarize the text rather than keeping it word for word. So I think that was crucial. And they would have like consultants with experts and like peer review and feedback. And you'd have to study like the commentaries and other things and continuing to share it with other languages.
Okay. So here, who are proficient in 2 languages? Wow, okay. Alan, which one?
Vietnamese and English.
Hey, can you read Vietnamese newspaper?
Yes.
Books?
Yes.
Good. All right. Who else? Well, raise your hand, please. Milan, which language, which language that you profession?
It's a South Indian language called Malayalam. It's like from Kerala. And yeah.
So you have to know both languages well, right? That what do you call?
Malayalam.
Malayalam, okay. And English well to to translate, right?
Yeah.
The language from Kerala, I believe, right?
All right. So who else? Who else 2 languages? Okay. Gemma, which one, Gemma?
Spanish and English.
Oh, okay. So you can translate any books from Spanish into English. That's about 3 languages. Who profession 3 languages? None? Wow, okay. Yeah, that's good that if you have that skill, right? So V, you can translate any Vietnamese book into English, right?
Yes.
Khai, can you do that, Khai? We cannot hear you. Yeah, we cannot hear you. Yeah.
When at high school, I study French and English. No, but French I can speak a little.
Okay. Tony, can you do that? Tony?
I can't write in Vietnamese. I can only read it.
Okay.
I don't know how to write.
Oh, really? Okay, that's fine. All right, thank you. Number 11, please. Andy, Ryan, B, and Arena too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Our question was describe how Buddhist scripture were reserved in palm leaves, birch bark, cloth silk, copper plates, and wood block paint printing. I'm gonna cover the birch bark and the palm leaves. So in the Indian subcontinent, the Tibet, palm leaves were one of the earliest and most common material for preserving Buddhist scriptures. The leaves were blanched, dried, and then burnished. And then the texts were inscribed with metal stylus and then covered in ink and then wiped off. And the ink will be like embedded into the leaf. While in the Himalayas, the world's earliest surviving example of Buddhist text was on birch bark, which was cut into long, thin strips and flattened and stored between two boards. And each sheet was only around 5 inches high, so it was written horizontally.
Okay. Ryan, V.
For the cloth and silk, text will be embroidered onto the fabric or dried with ink using brushes, and cloth or silk will be rolled up and stored in a container for protection.
Okay. Yeah.
And copper plates would be inscribed with written verses, scriptures and sutras, and then those would also be preserved and put underground. And woodblock printing was introduced in Japan, I think in the 17th century, and that was a method for them to disseminate Buddhist texts throughout Japan.
Okay, Arena, you want to add anything else?
So like all of the methods have like their own advantages and disadvantages. So like for example, like the palm leaves and the birch bark, like those were lightweight, but they were also like able to decay quicker. So like they wouldn't be preserved as much. And then like the cloth and the silk were like those were reserved for like more complicated text. And then like woodblock was like what revolutionized like Buddhist scriptures, because those were like able to be preserved well, and like, they were not as heavy as copper plates or things like that.
Hey, thank you. So who four of you who know when was the first time that they have the woodblock printing sutra? You know which century?
In the 8th century.
Yeah, that 8th century. Is that early? Not the 17th century. Okay. What is his name? Andy, right? Yeah, 8th century. Let me share with you guys. We have plenty of time. Let me share with you this short clip about what they call the Pitaka in Korean. And you see that this is the woodblock printing. It still survive up to now. Okay.
The Buddhist sculptures carved onto over 80,000 wooden printing blocks in the 13th century. It's also called Goryeo Dynasty Tripitaka because it was created during the Goryeo Dynasty period. Tripitaka Koreana is also known for many mysteries it holds. The first mystery is the fact that these wood blocks are still in impeccable condition, not twisted or rotten ever for 750 years after their creation. And the second mystery is that all 52 million Chinese characters on the wood blocks are consistent and even in style, almost as if they were carved by the same person. All 6,569 Buddhist texts inscribed on 81,258 wood blocks. The third mystery is that Tripitaka Koreana has never been damaged by fire or war. Tripitaka Koreana is stored at Hainsa Monastery in the southwest of Korean Peninsula, and while this monastery went through 7 major fires and several wars, including 2 invasions from Japan, Tripitaka Koreana somehow managed to remain unharmed. Some people believed that this kind of a miracle happened because of the message of peace Tripitaka Koreana carries. Tripitaka Koreana was corrupted during Goryeo 40-year war against the Mongol Empire that arguably has the most powerful armies in the world at that time. Goryeo people tried to fend off the Mongol holders and create a peaceful world through the Buddha's blessing, which might have led to the miraculous preservation of those wood blocks. It was no small feat to cut trees from all over the country, transport them into the temples, workshops, chop them into wood blocks, and inscribe the text onto them. A phenomenal amount of time and manpower was invested in the process. Archaeologists estimate that at any given year, on average, over 1.2 to 5 million people would have been working on the Tripitaka Koreana. That is a shocking number of people considering the fact that the population of Goryeo at that time was 3 million. Virtually every adult man and woman in Korea was involved in this monumental endeavor, desperately praying to the Buddha for peace.
You see, that's so yeah, so immense that yeah, almost half of the population involved into making this kind of wood block printing. And they believe that even in every Buddhist tradition, even especially in Vietnamese tradition, that if you recite the sutra, even write the sutra, you have the blessing, protection from Buddha and Buddhista and so forth. That's why in the past and even now, some of them write the Buddhist sutra by hand, and even some monk, it's pure rare, but it happen. They use own blood to write the sutra. That shows their sincerity. All right. So you're the last one. Austin, then Tanti, and me, please.
Our question was describe how Buddhist scriptures are preserved digitally in modern time. And I think one of the main ways that they can be preserved digitally is like if they were written, they can be scanned, and that's one way that they can like become digital, or like from the scriptures they can be like typed out on a computer and stuff like that.
Yes. Next one, please.
So I would also like to add that aside from what Austin said, there's also you could take a picture of the scripture, like instead of scanning it, you could take a picture and upload it onto like a website, or even put it into like a video, because that's how advanced technology is nowadays.
Okay. The last one, please.
For me, I found that there are several different websites that are used to record this information. So just going on the internet and searching up like different like scriptures, we can find them online.
Hey. So let me share with you guys here. Let's say if you want to read the Pali Kenyans Sutra, you just go to access to insight.org, and this is all kind of the topic here, and they break down by the general name, number, similes, sutra title. They put this the general here. So this is the Abhidhamma. If we talk about admonishment and so forth, for example, you can click here. That go out of sutra. It's so convenient. It's so convenient for us nowadays. During my generation, I don't know whether you guys know about the boat people, right? We escaped from Vietnam during the 80s, and some sincere Buddhist people, they carry some Buddhist sutra, and when they went to the camp, there's no printing, so they have to write out by hand, and this is so precious for them. And now they be in your finger, right? A tip of finger, you type in, let's say the Lotus Sutra is online, but it's over there. I mean, that during those time in my generation, it's pretty hard to find the Buddhist Sutra or information like nowadays, right? It's just so blessed for you guys. It's yeah, most time people take things for granted, but it have taken the work of so many people to have this type of sutra, Buddhist information, and other information online now. All right, so you are the last one there, Alan. And number 7, go ahead, Alan.
Okay, so sorry.
Yeah, Buddhaghosa, right?
Okay, so my question was explain the essential role of the Buddhaghosa in the compilation of the Theravadan Abhidharma. And I found that the Buddhaghosa was a 5th century scholar who was very influential in Theravada. He wrote the Visuddhimagga, which is also called the Path of Purification, which was a structure and foundation of the Theravada orthodoxy and is a manual of meditation. He also took many strands of contemporary Buddhist teachings and traditions, and He wove them together to produce standard Theravada orientation for interpreting the teachings of the Buddha. And he accomplished this by coordinating, colliding, translating, and editing the vast, imposing body of the Theravada canon.
Yeah, he's very famous one. Whenever you want to study about the Buddhist Pali Canon, you should know his name. Yeah, and the book Purification, the path of purification is so famous. It's been translated into English already. Whenever you want to learn more about even the meditative state of mind, you need to learn from his book too. All right, so before I let you go, let me anyone I miss has spoken, have not share. Okay, one more time. So you have the last chances, right? 2 chances to earn the extra point, right? 10 and 15, right? And also I put the deadline for field trip report, I think in the first week of November, so that you can have time to visit Buddhist Center to write here, this one here, November the 5th. Anyone of you have visited the Buddhist Center and ready to write the field trip report yet? Anyone of you here? Not? Okay. Milan, where did you go, Milan?
I actually went to your center.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. You can come again to get 15 extra point. All right. Anyone ready for your field trip report yet? Okay, so all right, so please that is the assignment for you, and again you can come to my center, or you can go to other center, but on the 29th, right, that is the chance that you can earn 15 extra point if you go to a different center. Sorry, I just give you that kind of encouragement. All right, any more question? All right. All right, if that's the case, if you don't have a question, I can let you go now.